Hello, everyone. So today I decided to turn a base game house into a few apartments. Um, I can't remember which base game house this is, but I'm sure you can figure it out just from looking around the world. I chose this one because every time I looked at this, I thought these would make great apartments. And I was right. Just saying. The inspiration for this was kind of the apartment my father lived in when I was younger. My parents are divorced, and he had his own apartment. However, it didn't look like this really. It was an older Victorian home, and it was brick. However, the The house was turned into two different apartments, and he lived in both the upper and the lower at one point. And I just remember there was a stairway and a hallway, and that's what kind of inspired me to build this the way I did. As I said, this is not like a reproduction of what he lived in at all. But, little things here and there. So, I also do want to say with this build, I uploaded just the shell to the gallery, and then went back and furnished. So there will be two different options for this build on the gallery. And I like how both turned out. I think I changed a couple things in the studio area when I went to furnish. I can't remember for sure. I started this build a couple weeks ago, and then this week I ended up sick. You might actually be able to hear it. I had like a sinus infection. Things were bad. Luckily, I didn't lose my voice, but it is hard to talk. So if you notice, there's a little bit of a pause in me talking in this video. It's probably because I'm taking a sip of tea. That has been my lifeline all week is tea. So, but anyway, let's get back to what I'm doing with this build. And really, I had a couple of ideas. My first was there would be two apartments downstairs and two upstairs. However, I realized pretty quickly I didn't want to do that because I really wanted to keep the essence of the original home. So one rule I gave myself was I couldn't add walls outside of what was already there. By that I mean the outside. So I could add walls inside, but I couldn't really change a whole lot on the outside except for that second floor, and I could bring that, out a little bit. And that was just to create a little more room for an apartment to go in there. But I didn't want to change it too much. I still wanted that roof to have that same look and feel. So I didn't do a whole lot of changing there. It was a thought, though. The other thing with this is I'm kind of realizing that it looks like I changed the porch and then I went back and changed again. I don't know what happened there. I thought I did it all at once, but maybe it was something where it didn't save. I'm not sure. I can't remember. As I said, this is something I've kind of been working on for a little bit. And the other thing with this is I wanted kind of a very open space up top. And just because it is kind of a smaller apartment, all of these in my mind I pictured as maybe like more starter apartments, but maybe not quite starter. But at the lower end of a budget. So none of them have anything, extremely expensive in them. All the base game, cheapy cabinets, that type of thing. So I wanted it to kind of have that old home college, maybe rental vibe. where they've, put the cheapest things in possible because they'll get ruined by the college students. Not all, okay? Not all. I would never run them in college. However, that was kind of, what I was thinking as I was building this. All right, so the other thing, bathrooms are very minimal. I did also add some for rent items in this. I tried to keep it mostly Basegame though. So that somebody who maybe doesn't have the for rent pack can still download it and play in it and not really be too affected by, the for rent items. I did put the radiators in because I definitely felt that fit the, older home vibe. And I do have a small little room for a water heater and the electrical box and things like that. Really, that's about it from the for rent pack. There isn't a whole lot. It won't affect, your base game play of this build. And then we're moving down to the studio here. And this one, it's just a studio, has a little wall between the bed and the kitchen, which some do, some don't. And this one, I decided to do it that way. I've been doing that a lot with where I just use the base game items because to me, it kind of creates that space. I'm going to be doing, I think, some studios that I'll be using multiple packs in, and definitely going to be using tiny living and the Murphy bed and all that. But that's not this build. So the other thing with this is I tried to kind of separate and make it look realistic. I had intended on going through and playtesting this before I recorded. However, I did not. So if you download this and you notice those screens are different, you play tested it and it didn't work, okay? But if they're there, just like they are there, they worked. I think they will. It looks like there's more than enough room for them, a sim to go around all that. And I do normally try to play test my builds. I've been hanging out on Reddit and some Facebook groups quite a bit lately. And I know one of the things people said is they were looking for builds that don't use like the move objects or, the alt cheat, because a lot of times they can't use those builds. I do use those cheats. However, I try to make sure that my builds can be used, like it's not going to affect your gameplay where I use those cheats. So I've been extra careful with that. And I definitely playtest all of my builds. In fact, I have actually used a couple of my older builds a couple times now. The townhome with a pizza place underneath. I'm actually using that in another gameplay I'm doing right now with the for rent pack. Just to kind of play with that a little bit. I have my sim moved into that, and she is running a restaurant along with being a landlord for now until she builds up a few more properties. And then, I might have her rent that out or something. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, I think, just trying to make my builds usable. And please let me know if you ever run into a situation where they're not. Okay, so I've been talking instead of telling you about this last apartment. And this one I pictured maybe a young couple in. They have a baby, they're just starting out, and they don't have a whole lot of money. So this is a very basic apartment. They pretty much have concentrated on something for the kids, or something for the kid. And so they just have very minimal stuff. And I think it turned out pretty cute. I like it a lot. And I just added a little bit of an outdoor space with a grill for them because that's how I pictured them being. They like to grill. Just adding a couple of things for, outdoor area, community space. I did leave this side lot kind of empty, so you can do whatever you want with it. All right, so we're at the end of the build. Let me show you what it looks like inside. I do hope you guys enjoy this build. I had a ton of fun doing this. I have another base game remodel I am working on currently, so look for that in the coming weeks. And if you like this type of build, please make sure to like the video and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below, because I'll do more of these if this is something you guys would like to see. All right, you have a wonderful day now. Bye.